Florida, 1989. A string of murders shocks investigators. 7 men, all killed execution style, their bodies left near highways. At first, police assumed it was the work of a gang or a traveling predator. But when the truth came out, it was something no one expected. The killer was a woman, Aileen Wuornos, who would become one of the most infamous serial killers in American history. Welcome to True Crime Unknown. Here we explore the darkest crimes, the hidden motives, and the cases that still haunt us today. If you're new here, subscribe and hit the bell so you don't miss our weekly stories. And if you find this story as chilling as we do, leave a like. It helps bring more people into these mysteries. Aileen Carol Wuornos was born in Michigan in 1956. Her father was a convicted sex offender who later died in prison. Her mother abandoned her before her first birthday. She and her brother Keith were left with their grandparents, where life was harsh and violent. Her grandfather was abusive, her grandmother struggled with alcoholism. Aileen grew up neglected, angry, and broken. By age 11, she was trading sex for food and cigarettes. At 14, she was pregnant after being assaulted. The baby was taken away, and soon after, she was kicked out of her home. Homeless and abandoned, she lived in the woods and survived by hustling. This was the start of a long downward spiral, one that would eventually end in bloodshed. In her late teens and 20s, Aileen drifted across America, hitchhiking, stealing, getting into fights. She racked up a criminal record that included theft, assault, and weapons charges. For a brief moment, she even married a wealthy older man, but within weeks she was arrested for assault and the marriage collapsed. Wherever she went, violence followed. By the late 1980s, Aileen had settled in Florida. She lived with her girlfriend Tyria Moore, moving from cheap motel to cheap motel, surviving off Aileen's sex work and scams. But soon, survival turned into something far darker. The killings began in late 1989. Richard Mallory, a 51-year-old electronics store owner, was found shot dead in a wooded area. Over the next year, 6 more men were discovered murdered in similar fashion. They had been shot multiple times with a .22 caliber pistol. Their cars stolen. Their bodies dumped near highways. All had last been seen picking up a hitchhiker. Florida's highways had become a hunting ground. Detectives realized they were chasing a serial killer. But what shocked them was the witness reports. The suspect was a woman. The case broke open when investigators found pawn shop records showing victims' belongings being sold under Aileen's name. Her fingerprints matched. Now police had their suspect. But catching her required help from her own girlfriend, Tyria Moore. Under immense pressure, Tyria agreed to cooperate. From a police safe house, she made recorded phone calls to Aileen. On those calls, Aileen finally confessed. But she insisted she was not a predator. She claimed every killing was in self-defense, saying each man had tried to assault her. To police, this sounded less like survival and more like a pattern of murder. In January 1991, police arrested Aileen Wuornos at a biker bar called The Last Resort. Her mugshot, wild hair, piercing eyes, instantly became infamous. At trial in 1992, prosecutors played the recorded calls and presented her own words as evidence. The defense argued her lifelong trauma and abuse, painting her as a woman pushed beyond her breaking point. But the jury didn't buy it. They convicted her swiftly. For 6 of the murders, she received 6 death sentences. Her courtroom behavior shocked the public. She lashed out at the jury, cursed prosecutors, and accused the world of betraying her. Sometimes she cried, sometimes she raged. It made her both a terrifying killer and a tragic figure, depending on who you asked. For 10 years, Aileen sat on death row. Journalists, psychologists, and filmmakers all interviewed her. Some days she claimed it was self-defense. Other days she admitted she killed in cold blood. Her mental health crumbled. She became paranoid, convinced of conspiracies and government plots. On October 9, 2002, Aileen Wuornos was executed by lethal injection in Florida. Her final words were bizarre and haunting. "I'll be back like Independence Day with Jesus. Big mothership and all." So who was Aileen Wuornos? Was she a ruthless serial killer who preyed on men for money and thrill? Or was she a deeply broken woman shaped by abuse, rejection, and trauma, fighting back in the only way she knew how? The truth may never be clear, but her story remains one of the most infamous in American true crime history. Thank you for watching this episode of True Crime Unknown. If this story gripped you, hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Was Aileen Wuornos a predator, or a survivor pushed too far? Your take might spark the next discussion. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.